Okay, so I've been at this conference for a few days now, and I'm starting to get a little bit Las Vegas crazy. The fear and loathing is setting in. So I'm going to take you on that journey of madness with me. Whenever I'm in a hotel, especially a higher end one that's got some money to burn, I like to poke around a bit and see if I can find any weird hardware. Now, usually that's income stuff. Like you look in a closet and there'll be like some awkward incom junction box. But that's not the case here. Now we know this is an incom thermostat, so we know that incom is in use, but I would guess the incom board might actually be in. You know, often this HVAC equipment has some open space that you can put that kind of thing in. What's interesting in this hotel is that, now here's the thing. The first time I moved this cushion, this panel just fell off. So I actually, leave it cleaner than you found it, right? I put it back on better than it was before. But this is sort of interesting. Let me jimmy this off here. I like that it's kind of hard to get off now. Okay. So, this furniture allows this, hey, look at that. There's a little bit of graffiti on the back of this panel. So this furniture has this panel for the hotel to put their equipment. And this is kind of interesting. So I'm gonna hit the fisheye button on my phone. I'm sorry about the distortion that's gonna happen, but it'll be way easier for you to see what I'm pointing at. Or rather, it'll be easier for me to point at things that you can see. So this is kind of what I would expect, right? This is their set-top box for IPTV. And I don't see a manufacturer name on this, which is not too surprising to me because a lot of these hotel, over-the-top television products are like kind of weirdly generic hardware. But, you can see it's got network, it's got HDMI, it's got power, and that's basically it, except for this cable. I don't know what that does for sure. I think IR blaster or receiver, sorry. Other way, IR receiver is going to be my guess. I don't know where that goes. It's long. And it goes for a while. It goes up. Yeah, I think it's an IR receiver. But anyway, that's not the interesting thing here. The interesting thing, so check this out. This, it's a little hard to tell from this angle. I Googled the model number on it before I realized it. This is a Cisco Catalyst switch. And, being the kind of person I am, when I find a socket, I put a plug in it. So I plugged my laptop into some of these ports just to see, and I couldn't get anything. No DHCP. But it's probably, I usually assume in a hotel that they've got multiple VLANs going on, and I don't know, like what these ports are doing as far as the like physical VLAN on them, right? If I like searched the space of VLANs, I bet I'd find one with DHCP that's like their guest network, but I don't know. I didn't want to go to that much trouble. But it's a whole Cisco Catalyst, which is kind of funky to me. This has PoE in the whole 9 yards. I assume that's because there's probably an access point higher up in this furniture that's plugged into it, but it just seems oversized, right? Considering that there's only 2 things plugged into it. I don't know how much this cost, but it's more than I would think they spent. The flip side is they're using fiber. So, like, what's your cheapest option? It's got PoE, it's got fiber, it's managed. I think this still isn't it, but it's probably not as overkill as it feels, just because when you want the SFP cage, you're already kind of getting into a higher price tier. I don't know what the other thing that's plugged into this is. Yeah, I don't know. This is just like a structured cabling enclosure that's got, they're like landing the fiber in there, and actually, I think that other Ethernet cable goes into here too. 2.6. I'm trying to interpret the numbers that are labeled on it. I'm wondering if that cable goes off to an access point that's up higher in this furniture. But I'm getting distracted because this is kind of normal, right? It seems a little overbuilt to me, but this is a higher end hotel that I'm in. This is a newer remodel, so I can kind of see this is the deal, right? They bring fiber into the room. They've got one of these Cisco catalysts in each room. Mind you, this is an all suites hotel. So when I say room, I mean it's not huge in terms of square footage, but it's got like 3 TVs, each of which is going to have one of these IPTV boxes. So it's a relatively large amount of stuff. And I mean, there's got to be another switch somewhere because there's at least 3 TVs, and then I would bet this room has its own access points. So, yeah, I'm going to guess that's probably under the other TV or something like that. Here's what's kind of interesting, or what caught my eye. This is a DOCSIS modem. Now, this isn't unusual. It's an RS. See if I can get the model number on there. This isn't unusual in hotels because often they have the cable plant in them from when they were originally built. And then when they want to do internet to all the rooms, then DOCSIS, their own little local DOCSIS network, is an affordable way to do that. So there are integrators that set this up. They put a CMTS in the original like cable distribution equipment room in the hotel, put a modem in every room. Now you've got internet to the room. And if we look at the bottom of this, we've got our coaxial cable coming in, and then we've got this Ethernet cable that comes out and goes nowhere. So I hooked my laptop up to this. I got DHCP. I did not get internet. Once again, same deal. Very likely getting access to the internet might require being on a specific VLAN, and I didn't invest the effort in figuring that out. But I'm guessing what happened here. I'm not sure, but I can't, because this is also an access point, but the light is off. So I don't think this is doing the Wi-Fi. This has Mocha too, but that light is also off. That's kind of cool. So I think what might have happened is that this hotel used DOCSIS for internet to the rooms, and then later they installed fiber. And they never pulled out the DOCSIS equipment, which kind of makes sense, right? Because there would have been like a transitional period when they were kind of using both. Some rooms are on one, right? And I'm sure it was just a whole separate task to go through every room and pull this out, and it just hasn't happened. So there you go. Totally speculatively, maybe free DOCSIS modem, right? You pull this out, they might never notice. I don't know. Maybe... Well, I know it's not. I'm pretty confident that the guest Wi-Fi network is not coming off this device just from like RSSI, just doing a little bit of poor man's radio location. I'm actually noticing there's another cable. Hey, there's another Ethernet cable to nowhere. And where? There it is. From nowhere to nowhere. Oh, you know what? This used to be the Ethernet. This used to go from the DOCSIS modem to the IPTV. And that kind of makes sense because the modem and the IPTV box are kind of nicely on this metal backplate. And this thing is just hanging out in here. And I know fiber cables are more robust than people often make them out to be, but this is like hanging off the cable. I do not like that. So yeah, I think they upgraded this room and they just left it that way. This is kind of cool. This plate, that's like on a welded tab. This was made for this IPTV box. That would have been tidy, you know, if they were still using it. So for this to be an appliance time, I have to talk about the TV, right? And, you know, I'm as incoherent as I am, and I'm only that far into my oversized daiquiri. But so the funny thing is, I'm sitting in the living room, and this TV just doesn't work. Like, I hit the power button on the remote, the TV turns on, and it's gonna say no cable connected and nothing. But this remote is mostly gonna control the IPTV box, right? So I think this TV has come unplugged. And there's this access panel in the furniture. And it's just like over on this end. I took a look. It's hinged at the bottom with a big long piano hinge. And then there's a Phillips screw back here. And that's all that holds this closed. But I don't really have a way to get that screw out. I think the cable just came loose though. That's a little embarrassing. Okay, so this is why you stay in a suite, right? I go to the other TV. And there's a couple of interesting, I'm turning the volume down because I don't want to have content match problems here. But there's a couple of interesting things to find here. The IPTV product here, this is the Mandoy Bay, it's actually the Delano, is clearly nicer than what Caesars has, where I was staying last time I was here. Because this whole thing, it's just, I mean, it's not good, but it's definitely better. And it's got this inbox. Let's get a little better angle here. And this is sort of interesting because check out this message, declined service. It says that they didn't clean my room because I had the do not disturb light on, which is a thing in this hotel. There's a little button that turns on a light. So that's interesting because this is really like, right, like this apparently integrates with whatever product they use. And here's the thing, I actually left the like do not disturb light on by accident today. Usually the maid has been coming by and the maid keeps leaving the TV on. So I think that the way that they mark the room as having been serviced is some menu on this TV. It used to be really common for hotel telephone systems to do that, but I'm kind of thinking that it's part of the IPTV product now, that notification. But what I thought was funny here is this message that's Maria bag policy. I don't even know what Maria is, but I want to know the bag policy. Oh, this time it worked. Last time, this got me 500 internal server error. Let's just click around a little bit and see if I can get that to happen again, because I was cracking up about it. And of course, as soon as I get the camera out, it's working. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. I clicked on one of these messages. All it said was 500 internal server error.